Want to spruce up a plain old picture frame? Well then grab a few bags of colored gems from your local Dollar Tree. Then place a sheet of parchment paper onto a cookie sheet and pour out all the gems onto it. Make sure they are all in an even layer. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and place the gems inside for about 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes are up, pour all the gems directly into the ice water bath. You will hear them start to crackle and break. Let them sit for 5 minutes and then drain the water out into the sink. Now grab your plain picture frame and start gluing your crackled gems onto it. I use B7000 glue for this because it allows for some wiggle room before completely drying, unlike hot glue. After placing all the gems around your frame, put in a favorite picture inside and enjoy.
Reach for some beaded necklaces from your stash of Mardi Gras beads. Grab some large frames from the dollar store. Remove the glass and backing from the frame. Cut one of the beaded necklaces and place glue around the frame. Start to adhere and wrap one of the strands of the beads to glue on the frame. Cut another beaded strand to fill in any missing gap of beads. Add more glue to the frame. Adhere another strand of beads alongside the first strand of beads. Attach another layer of beads to completely fill the border of the frame. Reach for a paintbrush to paint the entire frame using black chalk paint. Use a smaller paintbrush to get into the crevices or coat the entire frame using black spray paint. And now you have an adorable and stylish set of beaded picture frames. I hope this inspires you to transform Mardi Gras beads into upgraded frames to display all of your favorite pictures.
Head over to your local grocery store, grab a box of pasta, and get ready to make an adult version of those famous pasta preschool crafts you love so much. It is a couple copies of family photos, not the originals. You're going to begin by cutting a frame from cardboard if that's the way you're going to go. This is a great way to use up a side of a cardboard box you happen to have laying around. And go ahead and measure it against the picture that you're going to be using and create yourself a frame. Make sure you cut out the middle shape. The next thing you're going to do is warm up your glue gun and adhere the pasta all around the outside of the frame. Since you can use any shape, you can figure out how you want them to fit together. Elbow noodles would be so fun curved into one another. I chose this straight ziti pasta and I tried to line up the ends, but sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But I figured nobody's really going to be assessing it too closely, and I like the look of it being a little scattered. Once you have all the pasta adhered to the frame, just make sure that you've taken all those little strings off that glue leaves behind from the glue gun. Then head outdoors and paint the frame in your favorite holiday color. And then you want to bring it inside, grab a piece of ribbon, and make yourself a little loop for hanging and just use a dollop of hot glue in order to stick that to the back. The last step is to glue your picture in place. This is why you want to use a copy. Do not use your original family photos. Glue them to the back side of the frame and then turn it around and voila, you have a lovely little keepsake ornament that you can give to family members and put on your Christmas tree this year. Our big tree's not quite up yet, but we're going to display it here by our small one. And also we'll be using these as gifts this year.
I'm Summer Hammonds with hammondsnest.com and you're watching Hometalk.
Okay, for today's project, I'm working with a ordinary wooden block. It's just cut from a 2x6 and it's cut 8 inches long. And then I'm grabbing some Dixie Belle chalk paint. I've chosen the color Sea Glass for this project, though it would be very beautiful in many different colors. And for the look that I'm going for, we're actually going to start with this chalk paint, but then we're going to do kind of a layered look, bring in some antiquing wax, and you'll kind of see how that all comes together. So I put a little bit of that in the cup. Then I just have an ordinary type of chip brush. It's a natural bristle brush. It's great for the technique you're going to see me doing here. So this technique, as far as not completely saturating your brush with tons of paint and also with your pressure being very light, just kind of doing a little bit of a dry brushing, kind of a rustic painting technique. So I'm going to coat the entire block and get that on there just the way I like. Now, I'm intentionally, I'll show you in the next step, intentionally letting some of the wood kind of show through. It's going to help with my layering of my rustic look. All right, I think that ought to do. And now we're going to put a little fan on it, give it a little dry. And then when that is dry, we'll move on to the next step. All right, so it's all dry and it's ready for step number 2. Next, I'm featuring Dixie Belle's. It's a water-based wax. It's in the color brown. And I just have a t-shirt kind of cloth, and I'm going to use one side to apply the wax, and then the other side you'll see me kind of buffing it out. I'm really going for a rustic look here, y'all, so this is definitely just kind of put on and not really overthinking it. Now where the wax, because it's a chalky type paint, it's very porous, so where the wax is soaking into the chalk paint, it's definitely changing the color and antiquing it a bit. But where the wax touches the wood that has not been painted, so I told y'all that's why I kind of left it unpainted, it's creating sort of a stained look there. So I'm just buffing it in and then kind of buffing it out, essentially. Now, because it's water-based, it's really not that messy. There's no harsh smells or anything like that. So it's a great little product for working indoors in on your crafting and your art type stuff. Okay, so next I have just a 1.5 inch ribbon, decorative ribbon that I picked up. It has a pretty little weave pattern to it, but I'm wrapping it around the block to measure that my ribbon is long enough. And what it does is it just barely overlaps. When we start securing this down, you'll see in the back how it kind of overlaps. But we're going to set that to the side, and I'm going to pull out my drill and make sure that my hole, I had already kind of pre-drilled this. But I am using for an added embellishment for this piece, I'm using a decorative knob, one like that you would use on a drawer pull or something like that. I picked it up at a local craft store, and it actually has the threads attached to it. Like the screw is it's all one piece. So just to make this piece very well, I'm attaching that inside, and that's why I took the extra measure to drill the hole. So I have some E6000 industrial glue, and this is a slow setting glue. So I'm just putting a couple squeezes in there, and then I'm going to take my knob and kind of move around the threads in and out of the hole so that all that industrial glue kind of spreads out. And then for a quick set, I've got some regular hot glue. And so I'm going to put that in the hole, push my knob down in it, and so that hot glue will dry pretty quickly, hold it all in place, and that industrial glue will continue to harden over time. Okay, so let's move on to get that ribbon piece that we had cut earlier. We're going to attach it to, this will be the front of our piece, of our display piece. We're going to use 2 upholstery tacks as decorations, but they also do help hold this ribbon in place a bit. But you'll first put one in on the far to the right side, just leaving a little tiny bit of margin. And if you never work with upholstery tacks, I like to gently tap them in. They seem to really like that a lot better. But I'm kind of smoothing this out, and I'm holding it tight while I do, because I don't want any space. You'll see towards the end, I don't want any space there in the front. Okay, so those tacks are holding it in place. Now it's time to get it all flat and smooth and glue it all the way around till it meets in the back. Like I was telling you, when we first originally cut this piece of ribbon, we wanted to make sure that it was just long enough that it would wrap all the way around, but then it would also just barely overlap itself in the back. So we're just going to keep using that hot glue all the way around, pressing and making sure that our ribbon is flat. I like really taking my time on this step because I like for this piece to look really good from the front where you'll be displaying things, but I also like for it to be pretty in the back. So just like all the way around so that you can kind of set it anywhere in your home and it looks great. So just a few more dabs of hot glue here and there, making sure we have no ribbon coming up. And it is finished. Okay, so the way that we made this, it works for a standard 4x6 horizontal photo. And you can see here, I could push it all the way down through with some pressure, but the way how tight we have the ribbon, it holds in place and it doesn't come out. So you could display your favorite photo, your favorite quote, maybe a to-do list, or even like a recipe in the kitchen or something. So lots of possibilities with this one, and it was pretty simple to do.